What's up, Hoopers? It's Coach Alex from THINCPRO Basketball, and in today's video, we're gonna go over a couple of tips to help you improve your shooting accuracy. Let's talk about it a little bit. All right, Hoopers, well, today's video is all designed just for me to give you a couple of tips and pointers when thinking about your shooting. All right, we're gonna go over 3 different things that relate to your shooting and your shot in order to think about it and make the corrections if needed to improve your shooting accuracy. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is your feet. Right? A lot of people may shoot the basketball with their feet. It's totally squared up to the basket. Some people may shoot with a slight tilt, right? Me, I'm the type of shooter that has that slight tilt to my shot, so my feet aren't always directly pointed to the basket. I like to have that slight tilt because for me, I feel like if my feet are so squared to the basket, I'm a little tense in my shoulders, I'm not as relaxed, but when I have that slight tilt, I'm able to get the fluidity that I need in my shot in order to be successful at shooting the basketball. So if you're the type of shooter that needs that slight tilt because you feel more comfortable and relaxed, then do that. If you're the type of shooter that needs to have their feet squared, do that as well, because shooting the basketball is all about being comfortable. You'll see a lot of players in the NBA that have the most perfect looking shot. If you look at a guy like a Klay Thompson or Kyle Korver, some of the best shooters in the NBA, who you look at and you're like, man, he's got a picture perfect shot. It's picture perfect because he's become so comfortable in it and he's repped it out and done it so many times that it looks the same every single time it comes off of his hand. So if you're able to get comfortable like that, you'll have a picture perfect shot for yourself. Then you'll see guys that have weird looking shots but can still make it because they've got so comfortable with it. They've repped it out. They have that muscle memory. Even though it may not be the prettiest shot in the world, they're comfortable with it. They can use it. They figured out how to use it. They figured out how to get their shot off, right? But your shot comes and it starts from your feet. That's the base. All of that comes up from your feet to your legs, right? It's getting in that footwork right. Are you got that tilt? Are you squared up completely? Do you have enough power building up from your feet to your legs in order to get your shot off? Because a lot of players will have trouble shooting a 3-point shot because maybe they're not getting enough power, momentum generated through their legs in order to get their jumper off. Maybe they're just shooting flat-footed, or they're just jumping a little bit, but they're not using it all and putting it all together. But the first thing you have to think about when improving your shooting is your footwork. Get your feet set, whether you're coming off of screens, running in transition, off of the dribble. Make sure your feet are set. That's the biggest thing. And if they're not, you're gonna feel it from the beginning. Because when you shoot that ball and your feet aren't right, you'll feel it because it'll mess up your release as well. But when you feel that your feet are right, you'll feel the fluidity in your jumper when letting that ball go. So the first tip I have is making sure that your feet are correctly positioned in the way that you want in order to shoot the ball comfortably. All right, so after your feet and your legs comes your shoulders. Now this is the part of your body that has to be squared to the basket. Your shoulders need to be aligned with your target, whether you're making a pass, whether you're dribbling in a certain direction, but most importantly when you're shooting the basketball. Right? You want your shoulders squared to that basket, because if I'm shooting at the rim and my shoulders are this way or this way, then it's gonna be awful. It's gonna be a terrible shot, because how am I gonna shoot over here? Or how am I gonna shoot over here without being squared? I gotta make sure my shoulders are on line, and especially when coming off screens. That's the most important time, because if I'm coming off like a little curl screen, I've gotta make sure I'm getting my shoulders around, right? So when I catch this ball coming off of a screen, boom, they're facing towards the sideline. I've got to get them around so when I release the basketball, they're pointed towards my target. They're pointed towards the rim. Because if I come off and they're still this way, but I shoot over here, it's going to be a terrible looking shot, right? So you have to make sure that you get your shoulders turned, that you get your shoulders on point with that target in order to put yourself in an accurate position to shoot the basketball. Shoulders are so important with your jumper, and a lot of people may forget about it. I don't need to be squared to the basket. Yes, you do if you're trying to become a great shooter. Look at Klay Thompson. Look at Kyle Korver. Look at Steph Curry. Where are their shoulders when they shoot the ball? Yeah, they shoot it, and then after they release it, they might turn because they know it's going in, but look where they started. Boom, they shot it. Okay, their shoulders are here, but they know it's going in, then they can run away. But you gotta see and you gotta feel your momentum and your shoulders squared to that hoop every single time that you let that ball go if you're trying to put yourself in a successful position when shooting the basketball, right? So we've talked about our feet. We've talked about incorporating our legs into that because that's the base, that's the foundation of our jumper and our shoulders. Imagine this, if your feet are right, but your shoulders aren't, you're taking a step backwards. You want to make sure everything's on point if you're trying to get the most fluid shot off, right? What if your feet are good, or if your feet are bad and then your shoulders are good? You're messing up still. Your feet are all off, but your shoulders are good, but you're still messing up your release. You got to put it all together. You got to make sure your feet are in line. You got to make sure your shoulders are square and that your release is on point. And that's what we're going to talk about next, your release. All right, guys, again, we're talking about our release. This is the final topic of today's video, and your release is most important because that's the last time you're in contact with the ball. So if your feet are right, your shoulders are right, but your release is off, it's gonna be an off shot. Now, there's a difference. You know, a lot of people may shoot that ball flat and you're wondering why you're shooting air balls and hitting the front of the rim because your release is here, right? You're not getting any extension on it. Maybe you're short arming it. You gotta release and get that ball high no matter where your shot's coming from. If it's coming from over here, you still gotta get that ball up. If it's coming from here, you still gotta get that ball up. If it's coming from here, which a lot of young players, even me growing up, I was shooting the ball from under here because I wasn't strong enough yet. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to shoot here at the age of 7 years old or 8 years old or even 12 years old because I wasn't strong enough. That ball was gonna have to come from here, but I always knew that the best chance for me to score and shoot the ball with accuracy was to get my release up in the air and get that ball up in my air. My dad always would tell me, get that ball up. Get that ball up, and that still resonates with me now because I use it. I tell players that I work with, get that ball in the air, shoot that ball up, give yourself a chance to get the ball in the basket. So if I'm shooting from here, so for you young players out there that aren't strong enough to get that release up here, right? And you're here, it doesn't mean you can't get that ball up. It doesn't mean you have to shoot that ball flat. You can go here and up, right? Look at that, just from here, and I'm still pushing that ball up, okay? You gotta make sure your release is up. You're reaching into that cookie jar, reaching for some good homemade chocolate chip cookies, right? Think about that. When you're shooting the basketball, you're trying to dip your hand into that rim. You can't dip your hand into the rim. If it's flat, you're not getting nothing but air, and that's what the ball's going. Get that ball up in the air, reach into that rim, put the ball in the basket, right? So again, to check off our checklist, check your feet. Make sure your feet are how you want them and if you're comfortable when shooting the basketball like that. Are you squared? Are you tilted? But get comfortable. So figure out your feet. Always make sure that your shoulders are squared up to the basket. And number 3, get that ball up. Get your release up no matter where your shot is coming from. Your chin, above your head, your left side, your right side of your face, your shoulder, wherever. In that release, on point, put it all together and improve your shooting accuracy. That was all in today's video. There's a couple helpful tips. Think about it. Think about what you may need to correct in your shot to see some improvement. All right, Hoopers, there you go. There's your tips that you're going to need in order to improve your shooting accuracy. Now, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and join THINCPRO Basketball, as every week we're releasing wonderful and great content to help you improve your game. It's what we do, provides you the opportunity, knowledge, skills, and drills to take your game to the next level. We love being a part of your success and helping you with anything that you need. And that's what you can do next. Click the like button, then leave a comment and let us know what you think of this video and anything that you want to see in the future so we can continue to help you improve your game with whatever that you need help with. All right, so make sure you click that subscribe button and join us and check out all the great content that we have to offer at THINCPRO Basketball. And until I see you again next time, get out there, hit the gym, hit the court, work on the things that we talked about today and think about them and fix anything that you need to fix to become an accurate shooter. And remember to always keep hooping.